Hey everyone, welcome back to Learn English Easily, the podcast where we don't just teach you English as a subject, but we help you actually live it, use it, and feel confident while speaking it in real-life situations that matter to you. This is Emma here, and today's episode is going to be something very relatable, something very practical, and honestly, something that a lot of people struggle with silently, especially when they are trying to improve their spoken English and confidence at the same time. So today we are going to talk about how to talk in English with a girl for the first time. And I want you to stay with us till the end because this is not going to be one of those basic lessons where we just give you a few sentences and expect you to magically become confident. Instead, we are going to break down the mindset, the structure, the real conversation flow, and even the emotional side of what actually happens when you are in that moment and your mind starts overthinking.
Yes, absolutely, Emma. And I think this is one of the most important topics when it comes to real-life English speaking, because a lot of people already know basic English. They understand sentences, they can read and write. But when it comes to speaking in a real situation, especially with someone they are interested in, everything suddenly becomes difficult. Their mind starts racing, their confidence drops, and instead of speaking naturally, they start trying to create perfect sentences in their head, which actually makes things worse instead of better. And that's exactly what we're going to fix today, because this episode is not about impressing someone with big words or perfect grammar. This is about learning how to communicate like a real human being, how to stay calm, how to respond naturally, and how to create a conversation that actually flows instead of stopping after two awkward lines.
And if you have ever been in a situation where you wanted to talk to someone, maybe you had the chance, maybe the moment was right, but you didn't say anything because you didn't know how to start, or you are afraid of saying something wrong, then this episode is especially for you, because we are going to help you remove that hesitation step by step in a very practical way.
And by the end of this episode, you will not only know what to say, but more importantly, you will understand how to think during a conversation, how to react naturally, and how to keep things going without putting unnecessary pressure on yourself to be perfect.
So let's start with something very important, James, because before we even talk about what to say, we need to understand why people struggle with this in the first place, because the problem is not just English, it goes deeper than that.
Yes, Emma, and this is something most people don't realize. The real problem is not vocabulary, it is not grammar, and it is definitely not intelligence. The real problem is fear combined with overthinking. Because when someone wants to talk to a girl for the first time, especially in English, they're not just thinking about the conversation, they're thinking about how they will be judged, how they will sound, whether they will make mistakes, and whether the other person will lose interest. And because of all these thoughts happening at the same time, their brain gets overloaded. And instead of speaking naturally, they freeze or speak in a very unnatural way that doesn't reflect who they really are.
Exactly. And what happens then is they start trying to be perfect instead of being real. And that is where everything starts going wrong, because real conversations are not perfect. They are a little messy, a little imperfect, but they are natural and comfortable. Now let's move to the first real step, which is starting the conversation. And this is where most people feel stuck because they think they need something impressive, something unique, something that will instantly create an impact.
But the truth is, Emma, the more you try to impress in the beginning, the more pressure you put on yourself. And that pressure shows in your voice, your body language, and your words. So instead of trying to impress, the goal should be to start naturally.
For example, you can say something very simple like, "Hey, hi, I think I've seen you around here before. I wasn't completely sure, but you looked familiar." And what this does is it creates a natural opening without making the situation awkward or forced.
Yes, and another important thing here is your tone. The same sentence can sound confident or awkward depending on how you say it. So keep your tone relaxed, don't rush, and don't try to sound overly smart. Just sound like yourself.
Once the conversation begins, the next step is introducing yourself. And again, keep it simple and smooth. You don't need a long introduction. Just say something like, "By the way, I'm James. I just thought I'd say hi instead of overthinking it."
And that last part actually helps a lot, Emma, because it shows honesty and confidence at the same time. And when the other person feels that you are being real, it makes them more comfortable as well.
And when she introduces herself, for example, if she says, "I'm Emma," don't just ignore it. Acknowledge it properly by saying, "Nice to meet you, Emma. That's a nice name." And this small effort makes the interaction feel more personal. Now, this is the most important part of the entire conversation because starting is easy compared to continuing, and this is where most people run out of words or start feeling awkward. So here's a simple mindset shift. Don't think about what to say next. Think about what you want to know. When you become curious instead of nervous, your questions become natural.
For example, instead of asking boring or closed questions, you can say something like, "So, Emma, what do you usually enjoy doing when you're not busy with work or studies? Like, what actually helps you relax or feel happy?" And this type of question is better because it gives space for a real answer, not just yes or no.
And when she answers, don't just respond with nice or okay. Instead, connect with it. For example, you can say, "That actually sounds really interesting. I've noticed that doing something simple like that can really change your mood after a long day."
One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to sound too perfect, and that actually makes their speech unnatural and robotic.
Yes, instead of trying to speak perfectly, try to speak comfortably. Use simple words, natural pauses, and phrases like "I think" or "to be honest" or "actually," because these are the things people use in real conversations. Let's talk about something very real, nervousness, because no matter how much you prepare, you will feel nervous in the beginning.
And that's completely normal, Emma, because it means you care about the situation. But the key is not to let that nervousness control you.
In fact, you can even say something like, "I don't usually start conversations like this, so if I sound a little awkward, that's probably why." And surprisingly, this kind of honesty actually makes the situation lighter. Let's create a slightly longer real conversation so people can understand how everything connects naturally.
Yeah, let's do a step-by-step.
"Hey, hi, I think I've seen you around here a couple of times. I wasn't sure before, but today I thought I should just come and say hello instead of overthinking it."
Yeah, I do come here sometimes, actually. I think I've seen you too. By the way, I'm James. Nice to meet you.
"I'm Emma. Nice to meet you too. So, do you usually come here to relax or are you working on something?"
Mostly to relax, honestly. I like the environment here. It feels calm compared to other places, and it helps me clear my mind a bit. What about you?
I think I come here for the same reason. Sometimes just sitting in a peaceful place and doing nothing feels better than being busy all the time. So if you really want to improve your English speaking and confidence in real life situations like this, then don't just listen to this episode and forget about it. Actually start practicing, start observing conversations, and most importantly, stay connected with us.
Yes, because on Learn English Easily, we are not just teaching you English. We're helping you build real confidence, real communication skills, and real life speaking ability that actually works outside the classroom.
So make sure you subscribe right now because in the next episode, we're going to take this one step further and talk about how to impress a girl in English in a natural way without sounding fake or trying too hard.
And trust me, if you stay consistent with these episodes and actually practice what you learn, your confidence will grow faster than you expect.
So hit that subscribe button, keep learning, keep practicing, and keep improving every single day.
Because the more you speak,
the more natural it becomes.
And the more confident you feel.
This is Emma.
And this is James.
From Learn English Easily.
We'll see you in the next episode.